Over at Marvel Comics, the publisher is gearing up for their massive FallofX storyline, in which the anti-mutant group known as Orchis is about to go ahead and close in on the X-Men in advance of the Hellfire Gala officially kicking off the story. My name is Arico Braddock, and today I want to go ahead and explore all the ways that the X-Men's animosity with Orchis is leading up to the Fall of X storyline. But before we get deeper into the video, I want to go ahead and encourage you to consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that like button if you enjoy our content. Now, I want to go ahead and kick off our video by explaining some of the lead up over to Fall of X. And a lot of the most biggest pieces of the story are starting to converge over with the X-Men's last storyline known as Sins of Sinister. One of the reasons why Sins of Sinister is so important over in the Fall of X story is due to the fact that X-Men supervillain Nathaniel Essex cloned himself several times. And these clones of Nathaniel Essex have started to converge with the X-Men's continuity. In the pages of Sins of Sinister, we saw Nathaniel Essex go ahead and plunge the X-Men into a false timeline due to some of his machinations over with the kind of DNA implanted into the X-Men's mutant resurrection protocols, as well as exploiting the mutant abilities of Moira McTaggart. And it was some of the clones of Nathaniel Essex, like the clone of his late wife, Rebecca, known as Motherrighteous, who helped undo some of these schemes over in Sins of Sinister. This character has been a sort of instrumental aspect to the X-Men line, informing several titles like Legion of X, as well as Immortal X-Men. And in addition to Motherrighteous, we also have another clone of Nathaniel Essex known as drstasis. One key way that Stasis is really looking to cause us a thorn in the side of the X-Men is by teaming up with Fei Long, an individual who's managed to seize control of Tony Stark's company known as Stark Unlimited. And alongside drstasis, Nimrod, and some of the other people over at Orchis, Stasis has been working to build some of the kind of Stark Sentinels over at Marvel. The Stark Sentinels are a combination of Tony Stark's technology kind of retrofitted over with the Stark Sentinels destined to eliminate Marvel's mutants. So the way that this group has kind of taken control of Tony Stark's company to build, anti-mutant fighting robots has been absolutely enthralling. There's also been several kind of smaller aspects that have led to kind of the fallout over for Fall of X as well. One such status quo shift was the fact that in X-Men 22, over in this cover that we have up on the screen, we kind of saw drstasis team up with Nimrod and villains like MODOK to show that they were working on sabotaging the kind of Krakoan medicines that have allowed Marvel's nation state of Krakoa to sort of prosper as a home for the mutants for such a long period of time. In recent events, we also learned that Orchis staged an attack over on the city of Milford with an explosion and tried to pin it all over on the X-Men. We saw this kind of as the fallout of the Fall of X Mutant First Strike storyline. In addition, we've also seen over in some recent X-Men issues that the X-Men are barely able to hold their own over against the Stark Sentinels. So it's going to be really fascinating to see the X-Men take on multiple Stark Sentinels when the X-Men's Hellfire Gala kicks off over in earnest. The public is also distrustful of Marvel mutants ever since the kind of secret of mutant resurrection was leaked to the press as a result of one of X-Men's previous storylines known as Judgment Day. And I want to go ahead and show you what kind of the future of Fall of X looks like. This next upcoming issue is called X-Men Before the Fall, Heralds of Apocalypse. This issue really looks like it's going to converge some really massive storylines with Arico, the kind of Storm's main book that she's currently operating out of. And we also have a look over at X-Men Before the Fall, Sinister 4, #1. This looks to be a kind of exploration of all of the Nathaniel Essex clones just in advance over of FallofX. This one is set to be released over on July 5th, and I want to go ahead and read you Marvel Comics solicitation text for this issue. FallofX is coming. As the 19th century drew to a close, the dying Nathaniel Essex unleashed 4 clones of himself into the world. They've been haunting it ever since, while lurking in the shadows. We know what Sinister has been up to, but what about the others? In this issue, we delve into the past and discover their latest atrocity. When they start to date? So that could be a really intriguing chapter of X-Men just about to be released over on July 5th. One really kind of interesting aspect about this is that the previous issue of X-Men dealt directly with drstasis and motherrighteous. It would be just so twisted and weird if they were to kind of pursue a relationship just in advance of FallofX, but think that would be absolutely fascinating here. One other aspect of FallofX is the Hellfire Gala. This storyline is set to debut on the Hellfire Gala 2023 #1 issue, set to go on sale July 26th. I want to go ahead and read off our solicitation text for this climactic issue. The FallofX begins here. The Hellfire Gala has always been the biggest event of the season, but this year's will change everything for Krakoa. What is meant to be mutant kind's biggest night becomes their biggest nightmare as the FallofX begins. All your favorite X-Men are going to be left reeling after this one. Shocking revelations, stunning betrayals, horrifying tragedy, impossible deaths, and of course the most glamorous looks of the year, all in one cannot miss package. So I could not be more excited over for the FallofX storyline to kick off over in earnest at Marvel. It's been so fascinating to take a look at how each of these kind of Marvel comics are setting up so many plot threads over for FallofX. And it's not just some of the X-Men titles either, as we've seen books like kind of Spider-Man reference some of these titles, as well as the main Iron Man book featuring kind of so many plot threads key to the Marvel Universe set to go ahead and unveil here over this title. I want to know from you, are you excited about the FallofX storyline kind of closing in on Marvel's mutants? Are you worried about the future of what Orchis has in store for the X-Men? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming and check out our video kind of retrospective over on several of the plot threads leading into the FallofX story. Thank you for checking out our video, and we'll be back to go ahead and cover all these issues and chart the course for the future of the X-Men. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye.